Yeah, it's like, you're too big. We can't count like this. Yeah.
But it's all good. I think this is. I mean, it works for us. You know, a little earlier would be nicer, but that's okay.
Okay.
I'm also a big fan of a little bit earlier, because it's like midnight for me. So the next call we're gonna change the time again a little bit. Otherwise, it's too easy for the Europeans.
Can't be too easy for them.
Okay, stream should be up, but I cannot see your desktop.
Okay. So you don't see the stream in the Discord?
No, I don't see it.
Does anybody else see it?
No, I saw something that said the stream had ended, so I'm wondering if something happened. Maybe.
Okay. I'll share it again. 1 second.
Can someone check if the stream is working?
Something coming now?
Yeah, it works for me
Yeah,
now.
we can see it now.
Is the stream also working?
I see the community governance slide now. So
Yeah. Okay, looks good. Werner, you see it also, and you can stream this?
Yeah, I can stream. Can someone verify that the stream is working as well? It does for me.
You mean your YouTube stream?
Yeah,
If you share a link, somebody can check it. Yeah.
it's in governance discussion.
the stream is working. Yeah, in
Perfect.
YouTube. So
Okay, cool. Then also for everybody who might accidentally find Werner's stream now in YouTube, welcome and good evening. Yeah, we're gonna talk again about community governance and about how we are going to do our first IOTA vote. And last week we already had a few of really nice ideas. Muxa came up with a cool idea about a voting plugin in Hornet. And so we thought about it a little bit this week, and I think we are on a very, very close finalizing idea of how we can establish a well-working vote with our tokens in Firefly. 1 second, I switch the folder. And so I think it would be cool if we can. I did some flowcharts about how the vote would probably work, and then we maybe can figure out some of those questions that might be interesting for the first vote. Yeah. So we've been talking about in the chat already about these things, but if we should require a holding period for tokens that are used in the vote, which is kind of a protection against some flash loan attacks, against some quick whale vote buy-in attempts and things. And the solution Muxa provides now will make this very elegant and not really difficult to do, it seems. Next question would be maybe to have a thought about if we should figure out a minimum threshold of vote participation. So if we if we do a vote and in the end just like 1% of all migrated tokens have participated in the vote, it might be for some people a bit not a valid vote. Yeah, let's say it like this. We might find a solution for that. And then the question was this, like, if a simple majority, like a 50% plus one vote would be enough, or some systems or also some government regulations, if you want to change a constitution or something, sometimes is kind of a super majority required, which would be maybe 2/3 of votes. Just to clarify this, I think it's good if we just have a chat about it, what everybody thinks about this. And then in the end is the question, I hope until then, maybe Muxa is also attending, who will build the system? Yeah? The Hornet plugin and also then the Firefly voting system, which is, I talked already with Charlie, and so I think from the IOTA Foundation, from the Firefly team, it's they're all happy to support after their main work is done in the moment, which would be Ledger. Okay.
Sounds good.
Let's get started, I guess.
Yes, so I switched the screen. It's a lot of information on here, but this actually was what I find out now is like the first version of what Muxa proposed to do. So, and Werner informed me now that they have already updated a little bit the idea, which will be a little bit more elegant. But the left side of the screen is like the basic principle in both systems. Yeah. So there is an plugin installed in the nodes that will on a defined milestone from our side out start observing all transactions in the ledger and will actively search for transactions that contain a message. Yeah? And so the Firefly wallet will be enabled for users to send token balances to themselves. Yeah? So you send from your own address a message with your own balance, with the balance that sits on the address to yourself. And during this process, the message will be pledged to this address and to the token holdings that are on this address. And so the Hornet plugin can record this transaction and cast it as a vote. And then the first idea was just like, okay, everybody holds these tokens on an address for a time. No, it could be an hour, it could be a day, it could be a week, it could be a month. Yeah, this is something we have to figure out. And then after this holding time has expired, the plugin will count again, and then we see how many votes have been stayed on the addresses and how many votes are valid. But I think I switch over to the next version of Muxa, which is a little bit more elegant. And maybe Werner can add some information because I think you have been talking with Muxa about this already.
Yes, exactly. I've been talking with Maxa about this thing on the Stammtisch. And yeah, this is like a improved version of this whole system. Because in the original system, if you would send your tokens, like say you have 1 giga IOTA and you send like 2 MI to a friend or some app, then you'd lose your vote or you would only get a part of it. And with this system, it's working like that. If the vote does not change, you the white that basically stays. So each token on the network can either vote for build, for burn, or for nothing, in case you don't vote or you remove your vote. And for each milestone, the Hornet plugin tracks how many tokens are voting for build, how many tokens are working for burn, and how many tokens are not voting at all. This result, the numbers, they are then added to a counter. So in this case, at the beginning, we would add 1000 MI to the build counter and 20,800 MI to the burn counter. And this counter is increased for each milestone by this amount. If now someone does a transaction and it changes because someone changed his vote to burn, then the counter will be updated different for future milestones. But the past is not altered, so if you would keep your tokens 95% of the time for build, and then for the last 5% of the time you decide you want to switch to burn, then 95% of the vote would be for build and 5% would be for burn. Does that sum it up?
Yeah, that's, I think, the really cool solution. I think what one kind of special case is also that if you would send tokens to somebody else that have been already part of the vote, yeah, so you have like 1,000 me and you send 500 me, so that you have this 1,000 me and they have been voting at the beginning of the vote for burn, and then you send 500 of those tokens to somebody else. They will continue to stay voting for burn as long as the new owner doesn't touch them. But as soon as he receives them and he has a different opinion, his opinion is he would like to vote for build, then he does the same thing again. He sends a transaction with this amount to himself and he changes the message that belongs to these tokens. And from this moment on, or from this milestone on, these 500 tokens have been changed to build, yeah, and so are removed from the count for burn. But if he doesn't do anything and he just receives the tokens, actually the vote would stay counting for the opinion of the former owner of the tokens. So that's a bit of a thing we have to keep in mind, that people need to know if they receive a transaction that has a vote attached to it, they need to actively change the vote if they have a different opinion. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
correct, Werner. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The thing
Do you
is,
think that
we would need to make a Firefly. Firefly should detect this and say, oh, you voted for build, but there's a transaction incoming that votes for burn. Do you want to change this? And then it would send a transaction to himself, basically.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing. So Firefly is going to have to see that those committed votes, right, via the tokens, as they move from one vote, they're being transported to user B, and they have to have an understanding that, hey, do you want to keep it the way it was, or do you need to change it, right? But I think that if we can detect that with Firefly and communicate that message to the new owner of the tokens that just received the transfer, I think that's important.
Yeah, I think that's I think Firefly will be, it's just a little bit more implementation on the Firefly side. The wallet will check if the transaction contains a message already, and then will activate a pop-up or like a notification for the new owner that you have received tokens that hold a vote, and you will be asked if you want to keep the vote as it is, or if you want to change the vote by yourself and change it to your opinion. If you receive tokens that have the same opinion that you have already voted, you don't need to do anything. You can just keep them, and they will still count as votes for the opinion that is
Yeah.
yours.
Basically, keep or change, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I actually think that the Firefly side is the most difficult thing about this whole, because walking a user through this and in a foolproof manner, it's going to be quite hard, I think.
Yeah, I'm actually a bit concerned about it. It sounds like it's easy, but I think this is going to be the hardest part.
Yeah,
I think it adds a little bit of complexity from the developer side for Firefly, and a bit of complexity for the users to understand. But also it has some really good advantages. But it's not. It's anyway, I think, not something that's gonna be attending a lot of people, because let's be honest, most people are not doing daily transactions forth and back, and most people hold their tokens in their wallets. They will cast a vote, and they will wait the time that is required to keep them there. But people that use their tokens for daily business, we have a few devs, they pay bills, they get paid. For them, it's a cool advantage that they, even if they do daily transactions, or they receive funds, or they have to send funds to somewhere, they can still have the best option and the most out of the vote, without having the problem that if they vote and then they remove it during the holding period, they lose everything. Yeah, and that's a really nice advantage that I think is worth to implement.
yeah, exactly.
I think it's cool as hell. I think it's one of the most sophisticated and elegant things I've heard on voting in a long time. To be frank, have we spoken to anybody on Firefly team, or anybody to judge the viability of this?
Yeah, that's
The
actually a
last,
very good point. We should really
the
get
last
the Firefly
person,
team on board here.
yeah, I can check this with Charlie tomorrow. I think it's just a little bit more work. Yeah, it's definitely possible to do this from the technical side. Yeah, because Firefly will have anyway will have to check if there is a payload, indexation payload attached. It will just have to handle this information in a separate function and do something with it. So that's just like definitely more work from the on the wallet or in the ledger state processing thing. I think also Thoralf will be a good one to talk about this, how the programming side of this will work, because it's not bound to Firefly. It's just like actually a wallet library function.
And let's also remember, like, this meeting was to kind of check that Muxer's idea would potentially be better of the 2 or 3 that were kind of proposed, and help us kind of get to that single idea, and then, work on the variables, and then, hopefully we can, if that is, and it sounds like that's the direction to go, we could put that all together and then start looking at, okay, what's, essentially assessing each of those variables for not just, risk in, is it possible, can it be hacked, but also, time consumption, and what is the time consumption of each of those building variables. And, like you said, if you talk to Charlie and he says, oh, this is a little bit extra, but not a big deal, then great. If it's, well, this could take 3 months, then, we can make that decision on, do we want to take the time for that extra bit of freedom versus doing that later for the future votes,
Yeah, this is something we have to figure out. If it's really a lot more work and it adds a lot of complexity, or they would have to change the wallet library or something for that, then yeah, we have to figure out, is it worth to go this extra mile for have a super sophisticated version, but that's gonna arrive 8 weeks later than the other one? Then yeah, we'll have to see. This is something we need input and feedback from the wallet side to clarify this. Yeah, because like I said, it's not gonna be something that's gonna be a needed thing for a lot. I see Adam is here. For Adam, that's going to be really cool for you, because that's really for people that use IOTA daily. They get payments, they do payments. It's a very, very fancy way of voting during normal business, let's say it like this.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of wallet library, I don't think it's that much because all you do is put a JSON into this indexation field. I don't know if that field is actually signed. I would have to check that. But I think the workaround is a lot because you have different seeds in your Firefly. You have multiple addresses which you maybe don't want to be linked up. And that is more the thing that's difficult. So it's more like a front end and management
Yeah,
thing, but not the
yeah,
actual nodes communication. And this update to use the indexation, we'll need that in any case. So there's
yeah.
no
That's
way around.
that's anyway mostly work to do, and then also we'll still have to figure out exactly, because we would like to have this kind of time difference in sendings of the addresses. But that's like actually, if we of the community require this, and then some devs, they will have to figure it out. Yeah. But I think it's not going to be a huge hurdle to implement both. Yeah, both systems have a little bit different things, but the basic requirements for the wallet side are similar. Yeah, there's just one more point of recognizing incoming transactions and providing new options with those tokens. That's a bit more work, maybe. Yeah, but this is something we'll have to figure out in the next days.
Yeah, there's this, there's interesting scenarios that just occurred to me. I mean, from a security standpoint and the consider the fact that like somebody decides to send votes, 500 votes at 3 minutes before the vote is supposed to be ended, right? So what happens if something votes that are intended to be transferred or moved or committed are in transit, stuff like that? It may be nothing, but there might be something there to think about.
Yeah, that's like the good thing is that like the plugin seems to really be like counting every milestone. That's like every 10 seconds you will have an update in the counting. So it's gonna be actually a very, very precise result in the end, even if there are happening things a minute before or the end, they should actually all be tracked and all be possible to count and to be verified. That's the nice thing, that this plugin is really actually tracking every milestone. And so we will have a very precise, in the end, if we say we have like 27 hours of holding period, and so this 27 hours will represent 100% of the token balance if you keep it all the time there, and then you will have like a 99.87% if you do something 7 minutes before end or something. And that's a pretty good thing, but it's also something that we definitely will need to test. Yeah, I think we need to give if it's finished, we will need like a 1 or 2 weeks running this all maybe in the beta test group of the Firefly wallet testers, or in another beta test group of the government's people. And also the plugin should run in the Chrysalis testnet. And so we're gonna do kind of 2 weeks multiple voting tryout that this really works.
Yeah,
I
we
just in that scenario, I just thought that it occurred to me that we could adjust. We could put a message in that says that if you, let's say it's 10 minutes before the vote time is ending, we could basically say, hey, send a message that says if you send.
You are interrupting. I cannot hear you right now.
Yeah, there's some connection problems, I think.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so what I was saying is that maybe we could send a message that said if you send tokens 10 minutes before the vote ends, they can't be committed to the to another vote or something, another person's vote. Maybe that would handle it.
Yeah, but the in the end of it would not change anything in the result, because it's actually in the end not gonna be interesting or count. It doesn't. Nobody will count actually on which addresses in the end the tokens have stayed. If Firefly does this count for every milestone, then if you remove the tokens 10 minutes before the vote from your address and send them to another one, then it will just change the opinion or the outcome of this last 10 minutes. If the new owner changed the opinion, if the new owner doesn't change the vote at all, it actually doesn't matter if the tokens stay on your address or on the address of somebody else. And that's the cool and really interesting thing on it. We just have to make sure that people know when they receive a transaction, and this transaction has a different opinion than their own, because as soon as they are the owners of the tokens, it's their right to change the opinion. Then Firefly needs to notify them that the option to change is there.
Exactly. And I think it also has the advantage that there won't be any token dumps or pumps at the end of the period, because you can just like send your tokens 2 hours before the vote ends. You can send them to exchange if you expect some movement once we vote build and boah, and it's going to blow up the DAO. Whatever you think that's spec, but it's just preventing all this from happening. And
and then you just still have casted 93% of your voting power in the vote, and you are still free to remove it whenever you think it's like something happening in the market, or we don't know, but it's like you are not absolutely freezed on an address and you cannot move your tokens in any case. So it's like you're free to remove your vote at any time. You just have to accept that it will not have the full power compared to somebody else that holds the tokens the full time of the holding period. This is something that somebody has to accept. We need a kind of I think we need a kind of a security period of holding to avoid some messy behavior that might come up. But still, people are free to cast as much as votes as possible for them.
Can I ask you guys something?
Yes.
Based on the proposal, it said that you guys are saying that it's gonna have milestones. Do you know how many milestones are we gonna be based on?
it's
Yeah,
one
you can
milestone
calculate.
every 10 seconds, so you can calculate it. It's like,
Oh, got you.
yeah, it's a lot of cryptos do it based on blocks, like hard forks. They are always scheduled for a certain block in Bitcoin or in Ethereum, for example. It's not always 100% accurate. In IOTA it actually is, because the coordinator is sending a milestone every 10 seconds, unless it's down, which we don't hope. Also, one thing I'd want to add to this, we actually have the advantage that we can make the holding period quite long, because people don't need to lock their tokens. And if we say it's going to be 14 days, then most holders will be fine. And even if you do some transactions, you'll probably still get a lot of your vote, because you just have to change the vote each time if you receive tokens, in case they don't have a vote or they have a vote for burn. But I think that will work well. We can just
Yeah, that's a
increase
good
that
point.
period, and that also makes the whole system less attackable by flash loan attacks or some whales who buy into IOTA for a day to kinda buy the vote and get us to burn.
Yeah, and people that run businesses and get paid in IOTA and have like a average in and outflow every day, but over an average of a week or 2 week, they are kind of having all the time something around 10 G on their balance. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 15. They pay, they receive, but in the average, they will still be able to count with the average amount of tokens that they hold during this time. If they cast a vote whenever they receive a payment, yeah. Of
Yeah,
course, if you receive a payment and it's in the middle of the night and you're sleeping, then you're gonna lose a few hours. But it's actually a nice solution.
Yeah, looking at the proposal, I think it's a great idea, and I think it works because we are basing everything on time and the voting weight, right? So let's say there's only 2 days left in the vote period, and I want to change something. I wouldn't be able to just flood everything with the amount that I have, or if I do a flash loan or something and wanting to change stuff, I wouldn't be able to, right? Because this way we have, let's say, 7 days, and if there's only 2 days left, I wouldn't be able to just take a flash loan and change a vote, correct?
yeah,
Yeah, you
exactly.
will only be able to get, even if you do a huge flash loan for 1 day and we do a 10 days voting period, then your loan will only be worth 10% of the money you have to put in, or of the amount of tokens that you're borrowing. And that makes it really absolutely unattractive for anybody to try something like this, because if you want to have the full power of the tokens that you loan or you borrow or you buy, then you have to keep them a long time. And if not, then a short time action, even with a huge amount of tokens, will have only a very small effect, because it's the time factor that is part of this voting weight, which makes it really a very secure system, I think.
Yeah, no,
So it
it
looks
looks great. I think it works. I think it looks great, and good job, everybody.
Yeah, I'd say outstanding. It definitely looks like we've got the right direction. Just in regards to time for the meeting, should we kind of move on to maybe some of the other bullet points we're trying to discuss?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
maybe.
I think the technical things we can figure out the next day. So I'll contact Charlie and we'll maybe get some input from Muxa and Thoralf, and then I think everybody can be really happy with this version.
Hey, quick question. I'm assuming Muxer's volunteering to support building this.
We have to ask him.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure he would, and I'm sure the community would donate, or even if the DAO gets built, we could put a proposal in to compensate any developers during this time.
Yeah, definitely
Yes.
make. And as we already said last time or in the chat, I don't know, also the IF can use the ecosystem development fund to kinda pay the devs, and then we can say, hey, it's a community project, we pay it back as a proposal. The IF could just come.
Yeah. I already talked a little bit with Mark Schmidt about it. I think even they will be, because it's a community project, even this is a little bit more about if we get a vote and we start building a DAO system for the couple of months, we have kind of a green of like a positive outlook that the EDF will actually fund this and maybe not ask the money back. But this is something to discuss later.
It
That's
looks
great.
like, I don't know if it just happened. A Maxer just came in, it looks like.
Yeah, but he's on the Autobahn, he wrote me.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm in my car. I can't talk. Just listening.
Got it,
Okay,
got it.
cool.
Okay, no problem.
Everybody is fascinated from your ideas.
Yeah, that to sum up the first 30 minutes here, we've talked a lot about your idea regarding the holding periods, what you basically said in Stammtisch on Monday. I also tried to write it down in a blog post, which I sent you, but I guess you'll read that later. And, well, everyone liked it so far, and I think it's the best option I've seen yet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so maybe we can do a little poll later or tomorrow about how long we would think the actual holding period could be, because actually with this system I think we can definitely easy say we will do have the vote open for casting votes, maybe like give it a 2 weeks period where people can actually vote. They don't need to, but in the end of these 2 weeks they have to have made a vote. And then we can say we hold it for a week or even 2 weeks, and in this time they are free to change or to, yeah, but then like to have a little bit of front running time, because people will go on holiday, they have weekends, they are not following the project all the time, but we're gonna have time in these 2 weeks to every day kind of bombard them with the information that there is a vote out and they should open their Firefly wallet, and they just need to click a few buttons and then they can cast their opinion, and then they can go back into holiday or do their normal life stuff. And so they have casted a vote, and then token's going to be holding a week or two there, and then we have a final count.
Yeah, and as I already stated, the holding period we can really extend that because the tokens are not locked in any way. You can continue operation as normal, whatever you are doing with IOTA. And so, well, we could also extend it to a month
I
if we
have a
want a more
feeling that
accurate thing.
we should have a pre-holding time of 2 weeks because people go on vacation. You're right, and then holding period should be at least or minimum 4 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
only gets better the longer we make this period because it's also better for the community because this will reward active holders and not just people who buy and sell their coins all the time. This gives them more weight.
Exactly.
I think it might be interesting to see if we could get Dan to see if we could get Binance and all the exchanges to also help us with the messaging out to everybody who has tokens. Like they could maybe send a message to everybody. There's a vote coming up.
Oh, this is an interesting part, because then they will have the problem that people will remove the tokens from their exchange and the market will get illiquid. So I think exchanges will not be the biggest supporters of
Yeah, it's
80% of the
extra
vote.
work for them, and
Yeah,
they never take part in such votes.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, if
it's a
there's
good
no
idea to help us get the word out. But I see the point.
if there's no
Yeah.
gain for the users like some staking rewards, they won't implement it. It's just not worth it for them.
Yeah, I think if we can use all the sources that we have, Twitter, Discord, other social media platforms.
Yeah, also the
Also,
crypto
there's
media in general, all those
right
crypto news websites, they'll surely write articles about it.
one place that I do recommend getting in touch with is Everything Tango YouTube channel. They always make some really good quality videos. Maybe we can use them to present the idea and the voting proposal. You know.
I think all
We'll get Ledger to send out notifications.
yes, and all IOTA channels anyway gonna promote this the whole day. Chris Müller and but also we have, I think also the IF, they can support us a little bit with some connections to some like Cointelegraph or something. We can write some articles and bring out the message that the vote is open to the broader community of IOTA holders. They're gonna have some backs there, and then anyway, because it's gonna be after the ledger integration, and so anyway then the people will be a lot, like 50% of the tokens are still not migrated, so there will be a lot of people new to Firefly. They will try out the wallet. We can make a little notification or like if we have a voting page in the wallet, actually then already that's gonna cast interest, and we're gonna get them. Yeah, we just need a little bit time for everybody to reach out.
That's a good idea.
We could also double check with the IF, and I don't see there being any conflict of interest for them doing a blog post, which even gives them the opportunity to say, hey, this is the community. They've done this. This vote is coming up. We had, essentially saying they had nothing to do with it. And if they do a blog post like that, kind of like they did the original Treasury Fund, if they do it, that's automatically going to go out to CoinDesk and all the others as well. Yeah. So we could double check, but I don't see that being a conflict of interest them side, more so helping them to segregate themselves from it, publicly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get the Firefly team to, maybe this is redundant to what you said, Philo, but put a message like even sooner than later within Firefly and in the migration process or somewhere where saying that, look, after this migration, there's going to be a vote for Bill versus, B versus B. So maybe we could actually have that as kind of messaging within the wallet now, or just to start getting the word out.
That's a good idea. I can talk with Charlie, because anyway there will be a Firefly update coming for Ledger and also for fixing some bugs and stuff. And so we could maybe implement a little notification that users should watch out for an upcoming announcement about a vote. That's a good idea.
Philo, I would just say add the voting tab and put soon on it. That will automatically spark interest.
Yeah, exactly.
But
we had talked also.
I'm serious about this, by the way. I think it's a simple but powerful option.
This is definitely, as soon as there is an icon and people click on it, and then there's like, okay, there's soon something coming, because a lot of new users will come to Firefly and they're gonna click on every button and they're gonna check out every page. And so if we have something available there already, and then they will know, okay, there's stuff coming up, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah.
I was we had talked with this a little bit about maybe putting an icon that like on the outside of the wallet, or like a little like an action button that just kind of like green, like a green dot or something that maybe appears on the outside of the wallet, like on your desktop, on your phone, that signifies, like in messages, right? You have a message. Well, this is an action message. There's something for you to attend to.
Yeah, what the have access to, I believe, is the push notification, right? So they can send any notification. The only thing is we don't have a phone app yet, so I don't know how that works for desktop.
Yeah, on desktop it's just working. So if the app is closed on Windows, if it's not open, there's no notifications coming. Yeah, so that's only possible as soon as people open the Firefly app. Then notifications can be activated in the operation system. So on desktop, it's not gonna work like that. So we have to convince the people to open the program and check Firefly, and then they're gonna anyway get a notification that there is an update available, and then they update, and then in this update process, we already maybe can put also an information in the update log, in the change log. There's a voting option now implemented in Firefly. Check it out.
Maybe we could even go to the extent that, like, when you open up Firefly, it does.
You are gone again.
Gone again, yeah. I think he wants to say like force you to read the notification that there's a voting possibility.
Yeah, exactly. Accept these terms, before you can do anything else, right?
Yeah, to just like a pop-up where you read, oh hey, there's now this voting is now available. You can do this and that. Maybe a link to a blog post where it's explained.
Though
Yeah,
I might just add to that IOTA I feel like is always great on the flexibility and not pinholing anyone. So if they just even in the advanced settings or the regular settings that you could turn off like voting notifications, turn on or off, and then if you get them, boom, they pop up and you have to click on them. Or if you like someone's like, you know what, I don't want to vote, I just want to keep my IOTA, etc., they at least can turn that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
I don't know
maybe
if
they
that.
can,
I don't know if that. I don't know if that's an option that you really want to do. If you.
I also think that's more like a thing of the Firefly team.
Yeah,
maybe
let's
they
say
can maybe they can do like
how much they think is possible. They have also this quite limited team and time, but yeah, definitely some kind of notification, information, link. Anyway, we're gonna have to explain the voting options and all these things. So that's like we're gonna have to work a little bit together with them as soon as this ledger thing is solved. Then yeah, we're gonna have to fix this concretely. Should we shortly? What is everybody thinking about this minimum threshold for votes? So are we okay if in the end we get a count and we see there's only like 5 TI have casted a vote? Will we accept the outcome of this vote? Maybe there was even a bug in Muxa's plugin or something, so I don't know, yeah, but like if in the end the plugin says total amount of tokens that voted in the vote 4.75 TI, what are we doing?
I did you discuss 30% earlier? Was that a number that you had?
Yeah, that's 30 or 25% or 30%, but yeah, that's something we.
I mean, if we can see that there was a bug in my script, I would cancel the vote, and I think everyone agrees. But if there's no bug and only a few people voted, then that's democracy, right? So we should accept it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
At least for
I
the
agree.
first vote.
I agree with Muxer. If
Yep.
we have, even if we have like maybe 500 GI or something like that, if that's the total of the votes, we should accept it. But if there's a bug, like Muxer said, we should have safeguards where we all agree to redo the vote after it's fixed.
Yeah, this is why I wanted to bring it up, because it's like I'm also full on this. If we see it is there's no bug in the code, and we can actually every Hornet node can run this plugin. We can check, we can do snapshots in between, and so if we are sure that this is the amount of votes casted, we have to accept the outcome. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Even if there's, to put it to the extreme, if there's only one person voting, then if the others don't vote, then this one guy can decide. That's democracy.
That's the choice. If we are okay, if we would be completely silent and we would keep this in this little group here and like, okay, don't tell anybody. We are 25 people here. We do it is under us, but it's not gonna happen. It's gonna be public over weeks, available for everybody that's kind of interested in IOTA, and it's just like a very it's not something that's gonna happen, yeah. But we just like we have talked about it, yeah, that we don't require 50% of all votes to
That's
accept a
never
vote.
gonna happen.
So, no, that's anyway not gonna happen. But we have to accept a valid outcome.
I think
So
we
That's
need
the, that's
to.
the beauty. That's the beauty
there's
of a
no
DAO,
minimum.
right?
You guys are saying no minimum requirement.
No
That's
minimum
the beauty.
requirement. But I also
Here's-
think we need to communicate that this is just the initial vote. You know, when we get to the point of having proposals and stuff, we may have adaptive quorum. We have, who knows what we'll have, but we will have some better measures in place. However, for this one, you know, the reality of it, with every single voting, with every single protocol, unless you're paying them to vote, it's extremely low turnout. And that's for like actual protocol issues. This is really just 65 Ti, you know, like, which we all see the benefit, but most people probably, they don't even take the time to read a Medium post. Now, saying all that, we all know that we're going to communicate this to a high extent. And if any troll comes out and says, oh, you guys did this secretly, it's going to be like, dude, there's 55 links over the last 3 months and a voting period of 4 weeks long. Like, you can't even argue that point. So, but
Yeah.
I have to agree that I do not think there's going to be a big turnout on this, to be honest. And I would hate to see us go through all this effort to then say, oh shit, we didn't reach 40%. That's it. We can't do this and have to go back to the drawing board.
I don't think we'll even 20% is like super high for these kind of crypto projects. I think also in other projects that do voting, staking, or all this thing, the turnouts are fucking low.
Not
If you,
even
Well,
50% migrated their coins. So you can already see maybe half of the coins are already lost. No one knows.
right,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of a DAO, right? That's the beauty of a DAO, because if a topic interests everybody, like this one, I think a lot of people are gonna vote. At least they're gonna try to cast their vote. And I think if there's another subject that doesn't interest me, I don't want to vote, you know. But in this case, it's a huge one. So
I think JD, your idea was right. I think it was you, JD, that says, "Hey, well, we'll have a list of all these modes of communication, right? To get the vote out, right? So I actually think that we should consider this up front and make sure that we actively."
Yeah, we're gonna
you lost again.
give out some marketing efforts definitely, and we kind of need to track all our efforts. But I think actually I'm more positive. I think because voting is free and it's not just like a protocol issue. Is a big, and we're gonna have support from IF, and we're gonna make. Yeah, so well, let's see. I think we're gonna get not 50%, but also not just 10% of the votes.
Let's
So
see.
should
Yeah,
we
let's
take
see.
notes on this threshold? This slide that we have here, the minimum.
Yeah,
I think everybody agrees that we don't need a minimum, right?
exactly. How many? We just have to be happy
And
with the
maybe let's
turnout we
open it
get.
up. And is there
Not
anyone
for the
that
first vote, but for the DAO later on, we need these minimums, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Depending
Yes,
on
later
the
in the DAO, we need. There's kind of nice adaptive threshold systems out there. Polkadot has some cool ideas on that, because that's going to be votes with really low participation sometimes and sometimes not, and it's like yeah. But for this one, we have to keep it simple and take what's coming. And if the turnout is
exactly
90% burn, and then that's it, then like okay, move on, do something else. Like, yeah.
So real quick before we move on, I mean, it seems definitely we have a consensus that there's no minimum. I just want to give an opportunity for anyone. Does anyone see differently from that, and that there should be a minimum, just given that this is the main group that anyone can come in and voice their opinion? So is there anyone that feels that there should be a minimum, or that we should vote to be a minimum or something like that? Going once, twice. Okay, no minimum. Boom.
Boom. Yes.
Let's do
Yeah,
the same thing with a 50. Say the same question, right? Does anybody have a problem with the 50% plus one? Right? I mean, anybody have an issue with that?
I just put it up here for, we have to talk about it. Everybody has to think 1-2 minutes about it. But I think that's the most normal democratic voting thing. 50% plus one, that's the winner.
Yeah, I agree. And,
So
and
meaning-
again, the same thing when it comes to the DAO, we'll have a different system, but for this initial vote, 50 plus one.
So
Yeah.
just to be clear, right? If we have a vote and there's 50.1%, the 50.1% wins, correct?
Exactly. Although I definitely want to
agree.
see a super
Well, it's not
majority
50.
here,
It's
but
not 50 plus 1%. It's
50% plus one IOTA.
Whatever
Yeah.
is over 50%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the 1 in a million billion chance, if we had a 50-50, what would we do?
Burn.
Well, someone posted, I think a couple of days ago on the discussion channel, that if that happens, we can, like in the DAO, right? I don't think it's going to happen in the first vote, but in the DAO, if that happens, then we can take that topic or that pool and bring it to the court. I think it's MakerDAO that has it. Make it to the court, and then we do another vote.
Yeah, it could be reverted and put it on the side and put it up 4 weeks later again for a new vote. There's time in between to discuss, to convince people, to give more information or something. But if it's really coming out on the IOTA 50-50 vote, okay, that's no decision, and then we can think about to do the same shit again 6 weeks later or something.
yeah.
To
I think that we
simplify
just
it,
just
to
have a
simplify
predefined term.
To simplify it, because it's near impossible, but you never know.
Yeah. Especially with
could we
this.
say if we hit 50-50, then we just open the voting up for another 2 weeks. And if we hit 50-50, it goes another 2 weeks until one side gains majority.
That's a good idea.
Consensus, yes.
Yeah, that could work too. But especially with the
Well,
per
I'll just point
milestone
I'll just
rate,
point out one
it's-
thing on that though. Like
it's
what
so
you're asking
unlikely
people for a
to ever
long
happen.
commit. With that extra 2 weeks, aren't you asking people to possibly look how long you're asking them to not be able to move their money, right?
I'm just saying it's like winning the lottery. I mean, would it happen? Probably not. The probability is near zero. But would someone say, "Oh, well, what about this?" Some trolls say, "Well, hey, if it does, we go to 2 weeks more. We go to 2
well,
weeks more."
I'm just proposing that maybe what you do is you put a 1 week break, give everybody's okay, free and clear, do whatever you want to do with your money right now, and then start the ticker again in the 2 weeks.
Sure, sounds great.
Yeah, also good idea. Yeah, but it's very, very. We are talking about. Yeah, let's.
No, I agree. It's so minute, but you know what? I want people to think that we thought this out, right?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
why we record everything and we stream it. It's it's important that we bring it up, and we have to define a solution for this. We have to write it down in a proposal. We have to give the information. Also, this information needs to be part of what the people see before they vote, that they know exactly clear what's going on.
I'm against this cooldown period. If there's the 50-50 thing, I would just do the same. I would just wait 2 weeks and then decide, because if people really want to give their vote, then they should leave their coins there on the address they send it to. So basically, if you need your coins and you send them anywhere else, then you will lose your vote. So I think that's fine.
Maybe we could
instead
just
of
table this.
Maybe instead of pausing and then wait another 2 weeks, maybe we can just extend the vote. So like Max is saying, right, if you want to cast your vote, if you want to make it count, then you just leave your money. If you don't want to leave your money, then you lose your voting weight.
Yeah,
And-
yeah, exactly.
And maybe we could table this because it's more of a technical aspect later on, you know, but I think the consensus is of 50+1 and some type of extension if there was a 50-50, which is probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
So again, same thing. Does anyone argue 50+1? Does anyone think it should be a higher threshold? Going once, twice, 3 times, boom.
Yeah, so we call it. Although I would still be happy to see a really big majority for build. Because that basically
Everybody
says,
would be happy.
yeah, that's the community is like really for build, and then it would just be cool.
Yeah, I think it will be personally, but we'll see.
It's gonna be 99% to 1%.
Nah, not that much, but 80-20 would already be huge.
So Muxa is online now. Muxa, you okay with the Hornet team developing this plugin and the community supports you with whatever possible and whatever is needed for that?
What? Personally, I don't have time in the next maybe 2 months because with my full-time job, it's really busy right now. So I guess I can't help you with this. Maybe if I have some time at the weekend, but I'm not sure if that's enough.
Muxer, is this something that you can kind of consult and help the B team to develop if they so chose to take something like that on?
The problem is it's B is Rust and Hornet is Go, so it's 2 different programming languages.
And B is IF, and
Yeah,
I guess they are working on the Coordi side, and in my opinion, it should come from the community and not from IF.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we will
but are
need
there
to
more people?
find-
Are there more people that like that know Hornet really well and could maybe assist the community in doing it, or even do it themselves?
Yeah, we will have to find these people, and we will have to. I'm sure, definitely, we can talk with Mark. I'm sure there will be an EDF grant possible for this work. Yeah. And so if we have to bring this word out. We need to find somebody that is able to develop this Hornet plugin, because if we don't find someone that is able to do this, we would have to consider the other solution of Toralf that we had discussed last week with the snapshots in the permanode, because then we would not need any special thing in Hornet, because it would all happen in Firefly Wallet and only in 1 or 2 or 3 permanodes. And Toralf's code is already quite far. It will not have all the features that Muxa's solution has, but if we don't find anybody to do this in the next 2 months, then we have to think about other ways.
Yeah, I really don't like this permanode solution because that's super centralized, and you have the problems with the flash loan attacks.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best solution, but
I'm really so sorry that my life is really fucking busy right now. I'm even on the autobahn right now because I'm on a business trip, so
Okay, I see what it's about. I think I will have to learn Go, and then I will have to figure this out the next 4 weeks.
Well, let's keep moving forward, and I think, you know, between the EDF funds, between the IF, between us as a community, I mean, I definitely think that we'd be able to find the developers as at least for now. We can make sure that yes, this works, and you know, hammer out all the parameters. So then at the end, it'll just simply be the coding, and I think, you know, that shouldn't be something to hold us up from moving forward. And I think we should also, you know, maybe Philo S or get the IF, you know, I don't know. Maybe they actually want to build this themselves as well, you know, because I mean, Dom often talks about governance, and maybe they have a long-term vision of, you know, doing protocol governance over voting situations to decentralize things. I don't know. I'm just saying, have we asked them that, hey, maybe they even want to do their own voting system? And if that does end up the case, then maybe they can build it in B. And again, if it's open source and everything, then it's still decentralized. I don't know. Just but again, maybe we should just keep moving forward, not to get held up.
Yeah.
We'll
One
find a
quick
solution.
question. One quick question for me, Muxer. Do you have any people that you could recommend that you think could work on Hornet that you could maybe supervise from afar?
Good question. I don't know if Mathieu maybe has time. Or maybe Basti, IoT mod, he's called.
Yeah.
Maybe also Alex and Luca, they've also been working on Hornet, I think.
Luca's IF, I don't know. He's working on Go Shimmer right now, and the Go Shimmer team is glad to have him back. So I guess he doesn't have time. And Alex, I don't know. Maybe ask him.
Yeah. I think
Okay, well,
we'll talk to Dom a little bit. I think Dom can ask a few people then. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah.
I mean, if it can wait several weeks, then maybe in some weeks I can also start coding something, but then the people have to test a lot and stuff and help me with that.
Yeah, testing. Yeah. Anyway, we'll have to wait for Ledger, and then we will have to wait for the exchange opening, and then have the people have their coins on the Ledger, and then so it's like not gonna happen before. I mean, 8 weeks
soon.
I think we try to recruit people that Muxer approves while this whole process goes on. Maybe we can get a handful of people that we know that are competent, that are Muxer approved, and just maybe, you know, get something going.
Yeah. We will ask around and might find some 2, 3, 4 people that can devote a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there, and then build a kind of code. And then if Muxa has an hour here and there, he can have a look on the code, how far it is, and stuff like this. Yeah.
And Muxer, I just want to make sure that I'm not viewing this as something that you do for free. I mean, we want to. I think most of us would be happy to make sure that you get paid for the work. So
there are millions available, Muxa.
I really
Well,
would do
and
it
we
because I don't want money for that community vote thing. But I don't have time right now. That's a bit a problem.
yeah, I think we'll be able to solve that later on. So
Actually,
I think
I
it's
would
gonna
say
it's gonna take at least 2 months, anyways, for us to get anywhere. If we can start on documentation and also getting the word out, I think that's gonna be a fast start already.
yeah, I also think we should focus on the protocol. How exactly should the voting look like? I would suggest the JSON payload in the indexation of the value transaction, because that's really
I
easy to
wouldn't do that,
implement.
to be honest, because JSON payload is much bigger than just binary code, and with bigger transactions, you increase the proof of work and stuff. So I'm not sure. I mean, people could wait longer, yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure how much bigger the JSON payload gets and how much harder the proof of work gets with that. If you have several opinions on several questions, right?
Yeah,
I
I think
think about
actually,
this.
like, is there a need for a JSON? I mean, we could really just, we have actually two binary things like build and burn to add as a payload. That shouldn't make, that
No,
shouldn't be
not
overcomplicated.
not only two things. It should be a binary format where you can add several questions and several outcomes, several answers for every question and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's not.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
should be
It has to be a bit
flexible.
more
Yeah,
complicated. Yeah.
it should also, what I haven't talked about, this voting system needs to be reusable for different occasions. So we don't have like a binary put a 1 bit in it, put a 0 bit in it. So we really also want to use this for future votes, and therefore we need some sort of UUID for the vote. So there's
Yeah, good. Then we will have to anyway have a little bit time to figure this out exactly, because we will have to really define our requirements. What do we really want this thing to do? Because otherwise no developer can anyway start picking up the work on that if we cannot define the absolute project scope of what exactly this thing needs to function like. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And we should really start specifying it, because I think implementing this in Firefly is going to take much longer than on the Node side. Because it's not that difficult to like send an extra message or maybe capture it, but really doing this in a way the user is happy about it and the user experience is good, that's going to be a little more complicated. So I think if we nail down the protocol, then maybe the Firefly team can already start looking at it while we are still looking for devs to implement it on the backend side of the nodes.
Yeah, and for the Firefly, I think the good thing is, I think maybe it's because it's like also there's some front end stuff to do, there's some Svelte and things to do. We might have more luck in finding some community devs that are able to do this, like build a little bit UX, UI, and front end for the Firefly, and then but they have to be the connection with Stronghold and the connection with the wallet library should definitely be done by the core team. But like side works of pure front end thing, we can already find maybe somebody from the community that can put in a little bit work on that and create some ideas and create some test front end things and stuff like that. So this is something maybe easier to find than somebody that really can code core Hornet plugin.
Someone posted for the Firefly wallet. Someone posted not the actual wallet, but before it was released, what they viewed as a wallet on Twitter. I believe it was a video. I'll try to find it, but maybe we can have this person recreate something for the DAO too. You know.
Yeah, also we had already some kind of flowcharts here regarding how the user should be guided through the vote, and I think that starting to draft
I
something
mean,
like this would also help a lot.
if we define the REST endpoints already and how the message will look like, then basically Firefly can start without the need for Hornet, because you can just do a prototype with a prototype REST server and just add some dummy code, something like that,
Yeah.
and Firefly can already start in
Yeah, and
parallel.
we can already put this up in the in the beta tester group for front end and for getting all the vote flow and the message flow and the notifications and the things. There's no need for a Hornet plugin to be available for this time frame anyway, because like that's actually just in the end for the actual voting. A Hornet plugin needs to be available and needs to be tested and verified that it works, but before this we can nail down the front end and the Firefly and the user experience part of all this, and then this will take time, and maybe until then Muxa is a little bit more free and can support a little bit more there. Yeah.
Yeah, I see you. That's a good point here. So we should maybe start writing a specification for this whole thing and then have a discussion about it in the voting tech, how exactly we want to do it on a protocol and API layer.
Yeah, I can do some bit of design things. Like I have some Figma of the Firefly wallet of the desktop and things, and maybe I can do a little Figma of how this voting page would look like and what notifications can look like. Should we have all the design elements of Firefly available? And so we can maybe create a bit that we have something to see, how we would think it should look like for the user, and then from there on create a flow of a structure of if this then that and stuff like that.
That sounds like a great plan based upon where we are. We aren't standing still, so that'd be great.
Yeah, the good part is that we seem to kind of found an agreement on what we want. We would like to have Muxa's the Hornet plugin working, and we found some agreement on basic setups for requirements for the vote, on turnout, on 50% and all this stuff. So that's pretty cool that we making steps forward. And then we just have to maybe talk to the right persons to get some work done forward. Yeah.
Okay. So
starting today, I think we should get the word out that there's going to be a vote happening soon, sooner than later, hopefully. Get the word out, ask the IF if they can also put the word out, and then starting communicating with the community to see if we can get more people to help develop uh, the add-on or the Firefly side of it, and get some like Philo said he can do some graphics. That's great. Get the documentation and get it going.
Yep, absolutely agree.
Do we want to be a little hesitant on saying soon though, and maybe just say, it's looking promising. We have a direction. We've got a vote coming up, but maybe stay away from soon or time frames. Just
yeah.
I was
No
going to say the
time.
same thing.
No
Yeah,
time
the
frame.
Start tomorrow with
the soon word
promoting.
doesn't work well anymore.
Yeah,
Could
we've
you
seen it
imagine
with the ledger.
the community being hammered for not delivering?
Yeah, and we if it seems to be like minimum of 8 weeks away before there's any and testing. I think if we as soon as we come in a phase where we have something testable there, then we can think about of really starting promotion. And also, yeah, there we have some really clever marketing people in the community. We gonna also have time to figure out a bit of maybe a DAO promotion thing, that people know what would be the right decision to do. Let's say it like this.
The whole angle of what can a DAO do for you, right? I mean, we need to really spell it out and all the advantages, right? Do a little bit of marketing campaign.
Yes. That's another big part where we should spend a bit of time in the next weeks in nailing down what amazing stuff a DAO can do, because we need to convince the voters, and we need to convince people to vote and to support community development and to support decentralization. So there's a lot of different fields where everybody can get bring some input and bring this whole thing forward.
Would it also be worth trying to structure future meetings on like the first half being, okay, where are we in development of the initial vote? And then potentially the second half to, again, try to just nail down those real difficult questions, such as, how are we going to communicate to then have a vote for DAO versus multi-DAO? If it's a single DAO, committees versus non-committees. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the initial vote seems like we're pretty much on a good path. It's the technical side of it from here on out, which, you text, hash it out, and then we can maybe start spending some time, which is going to take a lot of time, of having those discussions of the variables around the DAO and how we even get to the DAO or multi DAOs.
Yeah, so I think we also can figure out over the next days and weeks maybe we can build up some little teams, work groups of some people are surely keen to focus on different parts of all this, because there's a lot of different aspects, and if some people fit together and create an idea and get a little bit more concrete in defining things and developing things, that would be a cool thing. And then we can figure out this also in the meetings, and maybe somebody can present a little bit. Yeah, if they're like 2, 3, 4, 5 people stick together for 2, 3 weeks and create some nice ideas, they can present it here, and then so we are not focused. So people can focus on the things that they're really good in.
Yeah, we maybe start. I agree with all that. We maybe need to start thinking along the lines of maybe putting channels within our governance thing, like one be called DAO structure, right? Start breaking it down so people can start contributing and just compartmentalizing, start refining. Maybe one what.
Yeah, the good thing is, I'm sure also, because we had this talk just about the community wiki, the IOTA Foundation is really keen to support us there. Yeah, they have some good people in project management, and they know how to, because this is going to be a huge software development project with different. So it's like we're not absolutely alone in doing this here. We can reach out to the IF. They will offer us as much as support as they have the time, and because it's like we are still partners, yeah, and it's, even if it's like not an IF project, they can offer us support in especially these things, in setting up the project, in finding a structure, how all these different people here, and we are gonna be a big group of people, that how we're gonna work together, how we're gonna get a workflow, how we can start to documentate what we're doing and things like this. Andrew and the UX and the UI and the project team from IOTA Foundation, I'm sure they're gonna have some good input for us.
I agree 100%.
Okay, cool. Should we plan the next meeting for a bit of different time? Maybe again on a weekend, or on I don't know, earlier or later or something.
So
yeah.
For the U.S.,
We cannot hear
you guys have been really cool as far as making the time better for us in the U.S., but I could still go 2 or 3 hours earlier than what we did today.
Would be for me amazing. Then it's not midnight, but it's just, then it's gonna be a bit for the Europeans. Most people working until 4 o'clock in Europe. So now we started at 6 in Europe. So this is, I thought maybe if we, yeah, but the weekends are, it's summer now, everybody's out with the family. Yeah, but this is something we can discuss in the channel in the next days. And maybe even we do two meetings like this, because the American meeting in like a couple of hours was also very, very fruitful the last time. And so in the end, maybe we will anyway figure out that it's cool to have 2 meetings on for different time zones. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should definitely rotate with time zones.
Yeah, we
Also-
need to do that. I mean, we can't just do it all in one time zone. So if we need to rotate, that's fine. The Americas meeting was really good, right? But I also worry about just making sure that, like, if we have different groups meeting at different times, I don't want to lose, the community thing.
Yeah, also the
Yeah, we need
contact
to.
is.
Yeah, we need to kind of. Yeah, we need to write down stuff that we are talking. The good thing is we are recording it. I'll see if I get. When are you gonna send? Just send me you posted the link, yeah. So maybe I'm gonna do a little write up tomorrow and just use the YouTube to skip through what we've been talking. That we keep a little bit track of all the talks we are doing, especially if we change time zones and so that we keep the information update for everybody.
Yeah, it's
Another idea
unlisted and
would
should
be
be available shortly after we finished here.
Another idea would be, like G-Man said, to create a couple more channels within our channel on
Yeah.
Discord already, and maybe separate teams. Like you said, we need marketing, we need technical side of things, we need a team for that, and maybe make meetings based on that, right? Like, okay, on Tuesdays it's marketing team, right? They're gonna have their own meeting and discuss what they could do to put the word out, as an example,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
I
example,
was thinking about the same thing. Yeah.
one channel I would immediately create is for the initial vote here. For building the vote system, for the initial vote, and maybe communications about this, there should be an extra channel, and maybe voting text should be like more what could we do on the new network.
Yeah, that's
We,
a good idea.
we need to
Let's
split
figure it
this.
out with Antonio tomorrow. How many? I mean, yeah, we should get a few more channels. We could have for the first vote even two, that we have like a front end Firefly design idea, user experience part, and another part about actually for really plug-in back-end wallet code developers to stick together. And if we get a few people together, because then anyway they need a place to exchange, like we have it with the X teams and with the B and with every technical development happening here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that they don't just try.
Your audio keeps cutting. I don't know why.
I'm sorry. So what I don't want to do is I want to make sure that we keep a lot of this in Discord and not get shoved off into GitHub, because it's important for the community to be able to see these channels. So
Yeah. The talk and the main, of course, the code stuff is anyway gonna happening in GitHub, but like they do it, I really love how the B team is doing this. Like they have these different channels for all kind of different developments they're doing and for all the different parts of the project. I think we could grab a big portion of good ideas how the B team is working together there, because it's also, there's a lot of community people, there's IF people involved, and they have a lot of different sides of project stuff to do, and they doing a really good job in keeping this all public available here in the Discord for everybody that's interested.
yeah, I agree. I
I
follow it.
really
Yeah, it's
hate
really
these 100 channels in the B development.
Yeah, I've minimized it as well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm not actively following it, but I think for the people involved, it seems to work. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, for
Maybe-
us, there's one Hornet channel, and that's it. And it worked really well. I mean, I'm not sure if it's good to have like 20 channels. Maybe 3 channels are
No,
enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Three something, yeah, and then maybe one. We already have three. We have this like, because when we're looking forward, also some people will start to think about DAO development and things. So we have 3 channels already with this governance vision thing. This might be something for more for the future outlook. We have the tech. We can maybe split up the tech channel in 2 different ones, and we can have maybe 2 different ones in the general govern. We don't need 20 channels, definitely. 5, 6
Yeah,
but
will be enough.
by the
yeah.
way,
But for me, my personal opinion is that it's how it's set up right now. That's fine. That's totally fine for me.
by the way, Antonio just dropped in case you didn't notice.
Antonio, you hear more channels. Well, we'll see. Anyway, for me, I think I will drop out because it's like 1:30 in the night and I'm super tired. I'll join the American meeting tomorrow morning and yeah, keep on talking. It was amazing.
Hey, real quick, do we want to go over the time for this meeting? Do we want to do next week or the week after?
Let's say the week after.
The
Can,
week
can we try 2 hours earlier? Is that possible?
maybe on a Friday, 2 hours earlier before everybody runs away into the weekend.
I mean, I'm not sure. Fridays, everyone is running in the weekend as fast as they can. So
I think if
don't
we can
know.
keep on for Thursday, I think it would work as it's been working, you know.
Anyway, for me, it's everything is cool. The earlier, the better.
So it sounds like Thursday, 2 weeks, time-wise.
Yeah, and 2 hours earlier then. So at 2 p.m. GMT then.
2 p.m. Yeah.
2
And
p.m.
if we see the
GMT
news,
and
yeah,
4
if
p.m.
we,
for you Germans.
yeah, and if we see the need and a few people, that's I mean, we can always if we see each other in the Discord, we're all the time like writing. But if a few people stick together, just get in the voice call and maybe if there's something important and interesting happening, get somebody write some notes down and put it in the channel or put it in the GitHub or something, or just leave it open for do a doc in Google Drive or something about important things or ideas that came up, that we just keep track of things. Yeah.
Should we maybe create a governance voice channel?
That we don't need push to talk. This would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just like for smaller meetings, because if you have 50 people and everybody, then we need push to talk. But yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'd actually like that to just set it up to have a governance voice and without push to talk requirement for like smaller meetings.
Yeah, for work group meetings.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So
Yeah. So I
Antonio,
was.
Oh,
Is,
so I
is
will.
there a way? Is there a way maybe we could create a channel for announcements as well for the governance? Like we have tech announcements and also IF announcements.
I'd want not to do another announcement channel, I'd just use the existing ones for that.
Yeah, actually, I think there's not much announcement in the moment coming from us anyway. So let's keep this not priority. We'll see if we have announcements. Maybe we can use the official channels. Yeah, don't know.
Everything is possible, so just let me know what you need.
Well, the
I'm
push to
just
talk.
thinking.
Let's get rid of the push for talk for the governance group. We just like to not have to deal with that.
Yeah, I just think that if there's something that's really important that needs to be said, instead of us trying to find through the conversation, read everything, maybe it could be announced by maybe even Philo, right? You can maybe include the everybody tag or here tag.
Maybe a role?
Actually,
A role?
yeah, we should create a role, a rankable role. Everybody that's interested in governance can rank as governance or whatever. And then if we have some important things that we want to, then you're just going to get a ping and you're going to see there's some news coming up, especially for all the people that are interested in governance. The others don't need be flooded with all the ideas and announcements, but if we can Antonio, if we can create a role and people can rank for governance team or whatever, and then we can ping
Done.
each other. Yeah,
Done.
Exactly like that. Yes.
amazing.
Okay, guys. Well, I got a meeting to run to, so I'll see those of you in the Americas meeting later this afternoon.
Yes.
Sounds good. We'll see you then.
All
Dropping
right,
out.
same here, guys. I got to run. Have a good one.
Dropping
Bye-bye,
out.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Yep.
So, see ya.
Down
When
for
is
the
this
win.
meeting? American meetup?
American meetup is in 6.5, no, or in 7.5 hours, I think. 6.5,
Oh
I
my
think.
god.
That's gonna be my coffee meeting.
See you guys.
See you.
See you.